Hey authors, in this video I want to talk about bad reviews. Yeah, those bad reviews, because it's gonna happen. If your book is popular enough, somebody is going to give it a bad review. It's going to happen, and what do you do when you get a bad review? So since your goal is to get honest reviews, you're likely going to get a critical review at some point. And that's okay because your book isn't for everyone. So that's the first thing you want to do when you get a bad review is remember, my book is not for everyone. My book is not for everyone, right? And my book wasn't for this person. In the grand scheme of things, one bad review or a couple of bad reviews or a few bad reviews out of many, many bad reviews isn't a big deal. It is one person's personal opinion about your book. So what do you do when you get a bad review? Here's some ideas. First of all, not all reviews are about the book. Sometimes I go on Amazon and I'm looking at a book and I go through the reviews and I see it came with a damaged front cover, 1 star. And then I look at the rating and I'm like, well, no wonder the rating is not as high. They're getting, it's not about the book. It's about the cover and it was torn or wet or damaged or whatever. So take a look at the actual content of the review and make sure it's actually about the book because sometimes it's not even about the book. Next, always remember the book reviews are about the book, not the author. So if you do get a bad review on your book, it is a bad review of the book. And you are not the book. You are a human being who has a book and maybe 2 or 3 books, and maybe you have kids and a dog who loves you and a mother and a job and colleagues who think you're intelligent and you've given workshops and people have loved them. And you are all of this. You are not this one critical or bad review. And you are not your book. So that's the next thing is just remember that you're not your book. Separate yourself out from that and say, okay, maybe somebody didn't like my book. It's not about me. It was about the book. Another thing you can do is just ask for support from your community. Author Nation is a community of authors. We have a Facebook group. Just go on and go, oh my God, I got a bad review. I'm feeling horrible about it. And something that when you're a new author and you're just starting to get reviews, somebody can help you with, whether it's your publisher or your writing coach or an editor or a friend or a colleague or whomever. Instead of you looking at the reviews, let that person look at the reviews. And when you get good reviews, excellent reviews, they'll say, yeah, read this review, read this review. This is a great confidence builder. Go read that. And when there is a bad review, they can look at it and they say, okay, is there anything in here that's actually constructive, that's useful, that you could learn from to be a better writer, to write a better second edition or whatnot. And if there is something constructive in the review, good advice that might help you, they can give you that bit of advice. But if it's just harmful stuff and not things that aren't useful, there are people who write bad reviews because they're having a bad day or they're grumpy, miserable human beings and they like to write bad reviews to make themselves feel better. Your friend or colleague or whomever, your writing coach, can take those and just put them aside and say, we're just not going to pay attention to those people because they aren't, they're not being honest about it. They're not being fair about it. They're just being angry and critical. And that's not useful. So we're just, if it's not useful, put it to the side. Another bit of advice I have for you is to refrain from commenting back, right? Yeah, I didn't like this book. It was terrible. Yeah, and I don't like your face, you can get angry. You can feel frustrated. Or you misunderstood my book. Or did you read chapter 13? I explained all that. You know what? Let it go. Don't comment back. If you start a war online with a reader who has something negative to say about your book, what does that say about you and where you're putting your time and you're putting your energy? So my advice is to refrain from getting into those conversations online or anywhere with people who are negative and who may be just poking you for a fight. So refrain from commenting back. I know it's hard when somebody criticizes your work. I know it feels like a personal insult, but it's not. So disconnect from that. Take a breath, wait until you're calm, and then move on. And finally, my last piece of advice is don't let it drag you down. There's always going to be somebody out there who doesn't like you or like your work. There's always somebody out there who doesn't like me, doesn't like my work, doesn't like how I do my videos, doesn't like how I dress, doesn't like what I say. That's fine. Don't let it get you down. It's really useful if you can get to the place where you can look at criticism and say, is there anything constructive in there that I can take from that, or that I want to take from that? And then let go of the rest, and don't let negative reviews drag you down. You're going to get bad reviews. It's going to happen. If you are going to put yourself out into the world, there will be people who will say negative things. Not that you deserve them, but there are people like that out there. So when you get a negative review, take a breath. Think about it. Is it about me? Is it about the book? Is it useful? Is this person just grumpy? Is it about the cover or the delivery and rather than me? Just take a breath. Take a step back. Look at it from an outside perspective, and if there's anything useful, take that and leave all the rest behind and move on. And I hope you never get a single bad review, but I have not yet met an author yet who hasn't. So when it happens, that was my advice.